Man, this the official. I call it Man Mondays, man. You know what I'm saying?
That's cool.
So tell the people who are you?
What's going on, y'all? My name is Marcus, and I'm just a soul on this planet living right now, going through my shit, excelling at my shit, learning on my shit, loving on my shit, all of that, bro. All of that.
Okay. That what's up. And y'all should know me. I'm the one and only. Now I'm not gonna be egotistical. Right? You know what I'm saying? Nah, but I'm Jordan, JC, whatever you wanna call me. I'm him. So man, we just here, man. We come to this little spot, man. We come kick it, and we just rap. So we rap a taste,
Right.
and we just keep it real. We keep it honest. We keep it real. We
Yes,
keep it
sir.
authentic. And so, my man called me the other day. He was like, man, I gotta come talk to you, bro. I gotta come talk to you. I'm like, man, what's going on? So, I want to start this because as men, I feel like a lot of times we really don't have a safe space to be able to just vent and just
Yeah.
delve into our problems or delve into what we got going on or what we feel like is bothering us, things like that. So.
Yeah.
That's just the main reason. This is one of the main reasons for this. Also, just to give knowledge, man, give game, and that's what we all about. Being able to give game, impact, be impactful, but being positive, and being impactful, and having positive influence. So, yeah, man. It's on you, dog. What you got, man? What you got?
Yeah, man. Well, it's funny how life goes, Been doing some things this year or the end of this year, end of last year into next year has been very groundbreaking. It's been very eye-opening. It's been very traumatic in a lot of senses. And, I've been going through a lot, dealing with the death of a sister,
Right.
dealing with a relationship that, on one sense, I thought it was broken up for a number of reasons, which I had resentment to. But as of late, finding out other information about this relationship as to why things happened the way that they did. And so me, myself, now, I'm sitting here going through these emotions, staying in them, facing them, all of that, because it's necessary for us to feel and go through it and not be afraid of it. If you're talking about from a shamanistic sense, a lot of the shamans, a lot of the mystery school systems, a lot of that, the one thing that they really encourage, which sounds very crazy today in this world, is about facing your death.
That's
And when I
deep.
mean
That's a
that,
deep one.
yeah. And of course, that's the only thing that's promised to us in this world. It ain't promised to us that we're going to keep money. It ain't promised to us you're going to have a family. It ain't promised to us we're going to be successful. But one thing that is promised is that you have death. And you will deal with it at one time. And so I think that throughout our lives, we deal with these little deaths. We deal with little deaths of things that go on, you know what I'm saying? Little deaths of your job, little deaths of relationships, little deaths of things that you have identified with that at some point it's time for those things to go too, so you can go to a different level. And so I say all that to say, this is the type of thing that I've been dealing with. A lot of the emotions that I've had, a lot of the thoughts and feelings that I've had, the resentment, the grief, all of the sadness, all of that, all of those are little deaths. And it at some point, we have to face those and be in it, feeling it, to know like those little deaths give rise to little life. And you can't have little life, you can't have more life unless you have those deaths of things that aren't working for you,
Sure.
things that don't serve you anymore, things that you've grown out of. And so for me, that's the state that I'm in, with what's going on, What about you, bro?
Man, yeah, I'm with you. I'm with you 100%. Like, I guess it's all about being able to grow within yourself. I think a lot of times we try to grow in ways outside of ourselves because that keep us from having to deal with the things that we actually have to deal with is going to take us to that next level.
Yeah.
Right? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know me, I talk about the church all the time.
Yeah.
And how the church is always like, you know, God gonna bless you, your new season, da 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 da. It is, but it's like, have you dealt with some of the stuff that you've been dealing with? Have you dealt with the fact you can't stay faithful? Have you dealt with the fact that, you know, you're not trustworthy? Have you dealt with the fact that you're sly? Have you dealt with the fact that, you know, all these different things that you have to deal with as humans, just being a human being?
Yeah,
Like I said, you come into a world full of sin, and sometimes we adapt what we come into as normalcy, when in actuality it's things that's stopping us from actually getting to what we're supposed to be, our destination.
Gotcha.
And so, you know, we just, you know, a lot of times we just looking at, excuse my French, we looking at the bullshit instead of actually being real with ourselves and saying the reason why I'm not where I want to be is because of bang, 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 bang.
Yeah.
It's just, well, I'm gonna get another job, make some more money, so I ain't gotta face this, or I ain't gotta face that. You know, I'm gonna pay this girl this money because I don't want to have to deal with her and the baby. You know what I mean? Whatever the case may be, whatever it is, you try not to face it because it's going to shed light on who you are as a person.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's why people hide behind the money.
Yeah.
They hide behind the cars.
Yeah.
They hide behind the clothes. They hide behind the title.
Right.
Because they don't even know who they are themselves.
Right.
So all that extra stuff or miscellaneous stuff, like I like to call it, is all there to protect me from myself.
Yeah.
Right? Which is the worst thing you could possibly do, because if you don't know yourself, you're just a walking shell.
Right.
With no substance.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's just what it is, man.
Okay.
You know, so you know.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so and I piggyback on that because we talking about self and stuff like that. And so, you know, in my meditations, in my time alone, you know, in my epiphanies and realizations that the time that I have, you know, it's really a thing of understanding or trying to figure out what the self is. And while we sit here and act like we got decisions to make, we do have decisions that we can make one way or the other, but there's also decisions that are being made upon us.
Right.
And I want to be clear about that because oftentimes ourselves, we're not really ourselves. And what I mean by that is you are yourself, you can make decisions, but there's always something acting on you, contributing to you going one way or the other.
Right.
And so when I talk about stuff like that, you have to expand. You have to get to a point where you're not just talking about yourself, you're now talking about your family that you're with. You're now talking about the relationships that you have. You're talking about your career. You're talking about generational things that have happened that give you the certain dispositions that you have, the certain perceptions that you have about life.
Right.
And so in that, I think it's a thing of when we talk about self to understand, like, yeah, you got some things that you can do and decide, but there's always other influences, there's always other energy, there's always other contributions that are acting on you all the time. And so it becomes a thing of where instead of you acting like a self as a solo solitary thing, you're actually in flow with a lot of other shit. You could call it the matrix, your own matrix or your own energy or whatever else. But these things are flowing through you. And it's important to understand that a lot of times we're making decisions and things out of generational trauma, out of ways that our parents have taught us to do things. And oftentimes that may not be the most conducive way for us to grow. And so it takes it upon us in our own agency to be able to make different decisions, have different viewpoints.
And sit back and reflect.
Exactly.
Sit back and reflect on it
and
figure out why certain things are the way they are. You know, there's no coincidence.
Exactly.
Right? There's no coincidence that I can't change the family I came from. I can't change,
Exactly.
I can't change the past, right? All I can do now is try my best to make the best decision for the present and the future.
Correct.
But in order for me to do that, I have to have that time with myself to understand where am I strong at,
Absolutely.
where am I weak at.
Yeah.
And I think that's the thing. We try it's like I call it bridging the gap, right? So it's like, okay, it's me and my dream life that I want to live.
Yeah.
Right? But in the middle of all that, it's a lot of trauma, work, unresolved issues, different ideology, things I have to actually face to get to my destination.
Right.
I can't go around. If I go around, I'll always be chasing. If I go around, if I deviate, if I'm saying, you know what, I gotta go face that.
Yeah.
I got that skeleton in my closet. I gotta go face that.
Yeah.
My dad ain't say he proud of me. I gotta go face that.
Yeah, exactly.
My mama said she hated me. I gotta go face that.
Definitely.
My girlfriend broke my heart. She cheated on me. I gotta go face that.
Yes, indeed.
You know what I mean? What I'm saying?
Indeed.
I didn't go to the NFL. I gotta go face that.
Absolutely.
Those feelings, those emotions.
Absolutely.
I have to go face that.
Yes, definitely.
Because all of that actually is what you need to be able to get to where you gotta go.
Absolutely. And all those things there that you're mentioning, all the struggle, all the things that you gotta go through, that is your source of enrichment.
Come on.
That's your source of nutrition for what you're trying to do. Because at some point, if you dare, you gotta have a certain disposition about yourself. You gotta be able to sit in all that shit that comes up and be able to stand tall.
Yeah.
Even when the shit comes and say, okay, it don't matter. Like, even at this point, I'm still facing whatever I need to face, irrespective of what it is. And the reason why I'm able to do this is because I faced other shit in the past.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? I've been able to deal with other shit in the past. I've been able to grow and be nurtured from the stuff in the past that I thought was adversarial, that I thought was oppositional, that I thought that I couldn't get through. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you'd be surprised a lot of times how strong you are. You'd be surprised a lot of times, you know, just in the stuff you're going through, you think you're about to die, you think you're about to crumble, you think you're about to go into some type of, you know, nervous breakdown or whatever. You stand tall in that shit, surprisingly. And so that grows as you continue to face those things that what you would have looked at as hindrances, the things that hold you back, they actually can be a slingshot for you to go forward.
Come on.
You see what I'm saying?
Come on.
And so I think that we got to reconceptualize what it means to go through things in terms of trying to shy away from it, trying to hide from it, trying to run away from it, because, you know, Bob Marley has a song, everywhere you go, there you are.
Yeah.
You don't get to outrun
from
yourself.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah.
You know, that's the song. It's can't run away from yourself. But that's essentially what he's saying in the message, is the fact that you got to deal with you if you're gonna move. And I think that there's so many external things that keep our attention that we don't spend enough time with ourselves
in the internal
to start to move through a lot of this stuff. And I think as men, especially black men, that has to become a fundamental, essential thing that we start doing in a daily way in order to become what it is that we want.
Yeah, you know? That's real. That's real. So like you ever think about like a million, like a person who won a lottery?
Yeah.
Right. It's like, well, damn, like how you win $250 million and in 10 years you broke, right? And it kind of comes back full circle because again, it's like, okay, well, damn, you know, I'm not a good father.
Yeah.
I'm not a good husband. I'm not a good boyfriend. I'm not a good student of life. I'm not a good student.
Right.
I don't make smart. I haven't garnered enough wisdom to make the right decisions. And so now, because I got now I won a lottery, and I have this surplus of money. Oh, that's supposed to change. And it's like, that's not how life works, right?
Yeah, definitely.
It's like you have to go and go back to, we talk about that dark place the one day. We talk about that dark place.
Yeah.
You have to go to that dark place
to
pull out.
Correct.
To pull out the gunk.
Correct.
That you dwelling in.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Correct.
And I think like I said, like I think that's the thing, like it don't matter how much money you make. It don't matter how big your house is. It don't matter how many women you got. It don't matter how many fast cars or luxury cars you have. If you have not dealt with the things you got to deal with, you still gonna be the same person with or without money.
Absolutely. And I'm gonna piggyback on that. So a lot of times our dreams of what we want to aspire to come out of not dealing with things.
Yeah.
You feel me? So you're not dealing with money, but you think that, oh, okay, I'm gonna get money, you know, but the essential thing there is not really the money, it's the way that you use it. It's the emotional place that you're in as to why you're using the money that you do. You see what I'm saying? And so I think for us, again, it becomes a thing of where you have to change yourself, you have to go and be with yourself, you have to space yourself. And even at that, oftentimes, a lot of the dreams that you have change.
Yeah.
You figure out, hey, I wanted them 5 cars, that was based upon a certain disposition that I was in at one time.
For sure.
Okay?
For sure.
That I wasn't dealing with my wealth and financial freedom at that point. So I figured that if I had got the cars, that would be a representation of my financial wealth. But when it's not that at all.
Nope.
It's really just an amplification, because now you got more money. Now you're gonna do more things with it that are still in the same energy that you have not dealt with. You see what I'm saying?
You end up losing more money.
Absolutely.
You end up losing more money in the long run,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
And so
exactly.
So I was telling you, I was like, man, you know, I was like last year, but I had a ball last year.
Yeah.
Had a ball last year. And I thought that was gonna change like my whole everything, you know, about me per se. But when I start realizing, I'm like, damn, you know, when I think about it, I'm like, even with one job, I got everything I need, you know. But the reason I got to that point is because I understood that, like you said, the reason I wanted to make more money was because of an emotional disposition I was in versus the reality, right? Now, I'm not saying you can't have no paper.
Right.
I'm not saying you can't have no paper.
Right.
But you shouldn't want the paper for the wrong reason.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah.
Like you say, you talking about financial freedom and wealth. Like, now I'm to the point where now I want the paper because I want to go on vacation for 6 months and not have to come back and worry about nobody.
Got you.
Like, my people taken care of.
Got you.
Everybody straight. We good. We in position. We got different businesses going. Now we moving. Now we got a machine. Now we got a system going on.
Right.
And so now everybody can get out the rat race and be like, you know, I got my own business.
Yeah.
You know, or I help my brother with his business, or I help my boyfriend with his business, or whatever it is. My whole thing is I want to make sure the people around me, my intermediate circle, my circle, the small circle I do have, I want to make sure they straight. And if they not straight, I can put them in position to be straight.
Correct.
And so it ain't even so much. It's not even so much about buying a Tom Ford or buying this or buying that or having a fast car or having the penthouse downtown. Though, yeah, all that stuff cool. Don't get me wrong. I ain't saying I don't want it, but my thought process has 180.
Correct.
Versus before, I was like, I'm finna go get the Benz. I'm finna go get the Beamer. I'm finna go hot ride.
Right.
But I'm still broken.
Yeah.
Emotionally, mentally,
correct.
Spiritually, I'm still broken.
Correct.
Financially, I'm straight.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
I can go to Magic City and go crazy. I can go to Blue Flame and go crazy.
Yeah.
Strokers and go crazy.
Yeah.
But what is that doing for me?
Yeah. And so
that's enabling me to stay where I'm at.
Yeah.
And it's not forcing me to change.
Correct. And so that becomes the thing of where we have to start looking at ourselves in a more ecological way. You mentioned that you financially was cool, but emotionally and whatever else, it wasn't so cool. So your flow of energy, your flow of value within those different spaces that make you up, that represent who you are and what you do and all of that, right?
Yep.
The energy's stagnant. It's in one space and it's not circulating. Feel me? It's just like when you think about your own body, you don't live unless your blood is circulating.
Sure.
You don't live unless your lungs and the air that comes in your lungs goes into your blood and is circulating.
Right.
So the idea here is that it's not just to have value in one area, it's to circulate that value in all your areas.
Come on.
You feel what I'm saying? And so when you start talking like that, you got a lot of people who got health issues, and we all do at some point, right?
Right.
But the reason is because there's this disparity, or there's this non-understanding of the complexity and the connection between different areas. There's a connection between emotional health and physical health.
Come on.
There's a connection between emotional health and financial health,
right on.
or whatever you want to say. So the trick of the matter is, how do you circulate that through whoever you are in an ecological way? And so that means you got to bring attention to the places that aren't circulating it. What is it about those areas that is not allowing value to come in? What is their orientation to the material wealth that's not allowing the value to come in? Okay? And so once we get to a point where you start to modulate, or you start to change, you start to fix those other areas and allow that energy to circulate, then you become a different person.
Yeah.
The values that you have, you don't value material wealth so much because you know that I can do all of that and still not have my physical health. I still won't have my emotional health. You feel what I'm saying?
I'm a millionaire with cancer.
And see, and how often does that happen? It happens a lot.
A lot.
It happens a lot.
Men and women.
Correct.
You know what I'm saying?
Because again, you're not circulating wealth. And when I say wealth of value, I'm just referring to that energy that has to go through all of those phases for all of them to be on one accord. You see what I'm saying?
So it's kind of piggyback off your point, man. I think wealth equates to wisdom.
Ooh, I like that.
I genuinely do. I think wealth equates
like
to
that
wisdom because, again, I can have wisdom and I can be the best lawyer in the United States. I can be damn near Johnny Cochran. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And be a phenomenal lawyer.
Yeah.
But if I don't have wisdom in the spiritual realm, if I don't have wisdom in the in the gym, in the physical, wisdom and in my mental, wisdom in the emotional, emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
If I don't have wisdom in these places, my wealth is subjected only to one thing.
Correct.
And at any given time,
correct,
that one thing can be taken away from me.
Yes, absolutely.
At any given time.
Absolutely.
And so when you only have wisdom in one area, you deflate all the other areas.
Correct.
That make you who you are. So
gotcha.
Even if that one area of wisdom is depleted for some odd reason, I still have wisdom in other areas that'll balance it out for me across the board.
Correct. And that's the whole point. And that's what we want. You want a balance. If your body doesn't have a pH balance, then you're not living here right now. You know what I'm saying? Your body got to have a balance of blood that goes in a particular rhythm all the time for your body to be able to get up every morning.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? These are the types of things that we have to start looking at in terms of ourselves. We're not just this static person that doesn't live in the world, doesn't have emotions and things like that. We're always getting impressions and energies that disrupt or influence who it is that we are on all levels. And number one is time, I think at this point in time, to become aware of all those things. You know what I'm saying? Because if you're not, then you'll forever be where you're stuck, or you got some stuff that's one-sided. You see what I'm saying? And so that's not, where we want to be. We want to be in a place where we are allowing this energy, this flow to go to all of these spaces. And a lot of times it takes some time to sit down and figure out what are some other things that are going on that I'm not aware of within myself that I also need to tend to.
Right.
What are the skeletons in the closet that I'm not really looking at and saying, this is what I need to tend to so I can allow this shit to flow. And a lot of times this shit is very painstaking. There's a lot of hurt that goes into that.
Yeah.
But in that hurt, there's some nourishment that happens in that. There's some nutrition that happens for you. There's some value that happens for you. There's a humbling that goes on in all of that. And if you're able to be strong enough to persevere that and understand it and then build yourself back up from it, you become an entirely different person.
Yeah. You
become more the person that you want to be. You know what I'm saying?
So let me ask you. With everything going on, what I mean, and we're just gonna talk about the recent chain of events, right?
Sure.
So even with that going on, so now you're in a position where that situation is close to home because that's your place of employment, if
correct.
You will.
Yeah, for sure.
And so how do you keep that balance even in the chaos where you are right now, where you have to go in every day and make sure you're being impactful to your students and making sure that you're handling your business,
right? But
you got other things going on within close parameters.
Yeah. And I think it's a thing of coming in, number one, with your best foot forward about stuff, okay? But the other thing about this is, like I said before, you have to face your deaths out here. And these are the little deaths. I ain't talking about dying and going away in your physical body. I'm talking about the deaths of who you identified with as an employee. You have to go and face those deaths, the relationships that you thought that you had and maybe don't have now. They shifted on you for whatever reason. So when those relationships change, guess what? You change as well. And so that's the thing, going in with awareness of yourself Number one, spending time with yourself at the crib, whether it's meditation, whether it's sitting in reflection, whether it's writing, whether it's whatever you do that gets you in tune with yourself. And then being able to come in and be very directed, being very intentional about, I got some depths to face today. And so when the shit comes up, it's not something that's a surprise for you. It's not something that, you're going out your way for, because it represents a death. It represents you being in some trauma or some pain or things supposedly that go towards death, but they're not going towards a physical death. They're going towards your spiritual death, your emotional death.
Yeah, mental, yeah.
Right?
Okay.
Because it's only within when you have those times that you're dying to yourself that you allow another person to be reborn. Okay? We can go through all the major religions and in a mystery school system type of way. They talk about this. Like, you cannot become more unless you die. You have to die. And when I say that again, this is not some morbid thing that I'm talking about. This is more of just the fact that, right, it ain't all that. It's just the fact that you have your challenges, that you are standing up, you facing them, and you being still in that. There may be some pain. Of course, there's going to be some pain in it. You don't get to the next level if it ain't no pain in it. But that's something that you got to embrace. Because again, the only thing that's promised to you is death. Here. That's the only thing. So you
can't forget taxes too, though.
Taxes, I mean, I hear you. But if I live in the Amazon jungle, not really. If I'm living with my tribe in the jungle, not really.
You're right.
You know what I'm saying? But
I got you.
But again, my point is that those little deaths are what you have to face, and you don't grow, you don't become or grow into the person that you are to become, unless you deal with that. And you have to deal with it. And there's certain times, obviously with myself, I'm dealing with a lot of that at once, all at once right now. You know what I'm saying? There may be times that you don't deal with it so much. But at the end of the day, it becomes about having to deal and face and stand tall in those depths.
Yeah.
And if you can do that, then you'll have another dimension of life that's opened up to you, whereas you now can do things that you weren't able to do before. Because now you have demonstrated your strength when it comes to when all the chips are down, when you don't believe in yourself, when you feel like disease and things are coming, all that kind of shit. You stand tall in that, and you come through. You become another person on the other side, and that's what it's all about for us. Is transformation.
Yeah, that's it, that's
what it's about.
And that's key.
You know what I mean?
But see, that's the thing, man. I think a lot of people don't really understand what transformation is, though. You know what I'm saying? I think people look at that as like, oh, transformation, I'm gonna get a better job, paying job. But it's like, nigga, you still the damn same.
Yeah.
Nigga, you ain't never changed. You still a shiesty motherfucker. Excuse my French.
Yeah.
You still shiesty.
Yeah. Yeah.
You still lazy as a bitch.
Yeah.
Like, what you mean?
Yeah.
I tell some of my homeboys, I'm like, bro, listen, bro, don't get me wrong, like, I'm with y'all 100%. We talking about trying to make money, trying to, you know what I'm saying, trying to stack that paper up. I'm with niggas 100%, but also I can't just be about stacking paper up though.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that's even again, like I said, the church is not, and again, I'm not saying all churches, so please don't be like, you're a church head. I grew up in the church. I go to church. Trust me, I'm not trying to demonize nobody. Yeah. But on the flip side of that, it can't be about just the money. It can't be about, because that's all that it is now. Even when we talk about trying to deal with women, is she want me to make, she want me to have 6 figures. She want me to, you know what I'm saying, woo. Yeah. And it's like, man, I hear that, but that's all chatter, bro. Yeah. That's all chatter. Yeah. And when you start to, like you told me a couple weeks ago, when you said when you start to really become one with yourself and really understand who you are, all that chatter become like it starts to silence. It's like it was up here. It was up here at one point. Now it's like, damn, now I can't hear nothing. Yeah. I only hear myself. Yeah. And so now I gotta control myself to where I allow myself to believe, because even if that chatter goes down and I'm still stuck in that chatter mind frame, that chatter or those remnants of that chatter are still going to have an influence on the way I operate, and the way I think, and the way I move.
Well, and I get that. And so, and what I'll chime in on and say is, once you stop the external chatter, now you can really get in touch with yourself. So now you really get a very, very clear understanding of who it is that you are, the things that you do, the nuances that you have, whether it's good, right, bad, right, or wrong. Okay. The thing about that though is being able to embrace all of that. You can't just embrace your positive side because by definition you got positive, which implies a negative or or whatever. So it becomes a thing of where you are now becoming aware of how these inner things are happening.
Right.
And so once you get there, then you can start talking about, I can start doing some things differently because now you're dealing with the stuff that's real. We tend to think that everything outside of us is real, but it's not real at all. And here's the example that I have. You can come here today and everything be exactly what it is, but you yourself are different. You have some shit that you was dealing with at home, with a girlfriend or a wife or a relationship or a husband or whatever else, and those things kind of color or influence how you deal in here. So you might be a little upset. You feel me? Like you might be a little irritated or annoyed with whatever in here. But that's not the situation itself. That's not what we're in here doing. That's you, and that's you projecting out. And so I think at some point it becomes a thing of where you get in tune with this, become aware of it, and start mobilizing things in a different way so that you can live differently.
Right.
And that differently may not be what you had even imagined. You may have been wanting the big hearts and the 5 cars, but once you get to that space, you're not even thinking about that at all. And the other thing about that is too is like money itself is energy. To be going after that, it's just the ass opposite. Because what you want to do is be able to go after what you love and what you are passionate about, and in terms of upliftment, whether that's your community, the kids or whatever. And so when you're doing that, the money will magnetically come to you. You don't have to worry about the money. You see what I'm saying? We have a very ass backwards thing sometimes of looking at it, get to the money. But no, do what you love, create a difference, contribute, counsel, all this kind of stuff, and you're gonna find opportunities to make money. The money is a secondary thing for you to keep doing what your passion is, or whatever you're so deeply involved in. And I think that once we kind of get that kind of perspective on it, then we'll be a little bit better off.
Things try to change a little bit. Okay. Man, I'm telling you, man, it's just so much. Society, bro. Like society, it's so fickle. You know what I mean? They don't really, they propagate, if that's the word.
Yeah.
Propagate.
Yeah.
Certain things to us that keep us in the same cycles over and over and over and over again.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, again, like I said, again, I'm not sitting here saying you can't live in Sandstones and Latonia. You can't.
Yeah.
I ain't saying you can't live in Alpharetta, Roswell, Milton, or Buckhead, wherever it is you want to go. I'm not saying you can't do that, but I think in order for you to do that, I think there are necessary steps you have to take to make sure that your spirit right before you walk into certain situations.
Sure.
Because I know people I know people think it's taboo, but I do think people can tell who's real and who's not.
Yeah.
People can tell what your motives are. And so you ask yourself why you didn't get that job, or why you didn't get that promotion, or why you didn't get that opportunity, and somebody else did. It's one or two things. It's either your spirit was too pure, or your spirit was just right along with them dirty, shicey folks that was trying to offer that position or that job or that opportunity.
Correct.
One of those two things.
Correct.
And you never want to be somebody who's trying to be pure and have to deal with tainted people. That's the worst thing.
It is. Because number one, they're going to feed off your energy. They want to be around you, but they don't have anything to generate with you. If you're a generator, you want to be someone who is also a generator, so y'all generate together. When you're with an energy vampire and you're a generator, then your energy goes down. You're not able to have the same type of things or influence the same way because you're not generating energy together. One person is siphoning that energy off from you.
Yep.
You see what I'm saying? They actually need that, because guess what? They're not able to generate the energy on their own. And so you have to be very leery of that in and of itself, But, it's a thing still of where, we want to be generators. And in order to do that, you have to circulate energy. You have to circulate value. You can't be in one place. It can't be in two places. It got to be in the 4 or 5 places, 10 places that make you up. You know what I'm saying? And so I think once we, you know, we think about that differently and understand that, then I think there's an opportunity to go and do things differently in the way, holistically, health-wise, all of that contributes not only to us, but to our families, to our communities, to our schools, to our neighborhoods, to our states, and, you know, whatever level you want to go up to. You know what I'm saying?
No, for real.
But I mean, it starts with us, though. It starts with us doing the hard work of going inside and looking at the things and being real with ourselves.
Being 100%.
Being real with it, like
being gutter.
Yeah, being real about it. It's hard to be real because it's painful.
Yeah.
This shit painful, and we live in a world where we want pleasures and things that alleviate the pain. But you come into the world through pain, right? In childbirth, you come into the world through pain. You know what I mean?
So it's only inevitable.
Yeah.
That you have to go through it.
Correct.
To get birth something. Ooh.
Look at you. Look at you. Look at you. Look at you on that. Look at you on that.
That was nasty.
That was.
You come.
Was.
I like how you set it up perfect.
Yeah,
you set it up perfect.
Yeah, for
you
sure.
Set it up perfect.
For sure.
You come to the world, you know, through pain, through pain, in order to birth something of substance. So now, even in your own life, you have to go through the pain to be able to continue to increase the substance in which you have.
And that's the thing. And so think about the different levels of pain that you have to deal with, though. Okay? Think about the inspiration of the music, the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, maybe some a little bit now, whatever, that people were able to have such great music. And why? Because they came through so much pain for that. They had some adversity that they had to go through that's now being displayed in their music.
The Negro spirituals is one on. Negro spirituals is one.
Yeah, all day long.
Yeah.
All day long.
Yeah.
And so again, if you don't have that adversity, if you're not leveling up through that adversity, if you're not facing it, you see what I'm saying? Then you don't have an opportunity for growth. You have to die to those things to be reborn to something else.
Come on.
You know what I'm saying? Like we can look at it again, which you talking about Christianity or whatever else. A central tenet is always about dying to yourself. It's a metaphysical point of that. It's not really a physical death. It's a sense of saying dying to.
That's crazy,
bro.
It's a couple scriptures in the Bible that talk about walking with Jesus. You have to kind of give up your old ways. So that's the same thing of saying like you said, I gotta die within myself. To be able to be reborn.
Correct.
Into something that has such a magnetic substance to it that things good and bad attract it.
Correct.
But not only do they attract, not only am I attracting things, I'm bringing positive impact to things so that people can change themselves, their situation, their circumstances.
Sure.
And I think as men, we really have to comprehend and understand that point, because to us, we like, I'm gonna just do me. I'm gonna get that money. I'm gonna, you know what I'm saying, smash these women, and I'm gonna keep it pushing. But when you really think about it, that's not what we're here for.
Yeah.
I mean, that's part of it. Don't get me wrong, that's part of it, because we gotta protect and provide. That's part of it, but I think the ultimate part is being so true with yourself that you're able to do things that otherwise you couldn't do.
Yeah, this is real.
You know what I mean? In all aspects, mentally, physically, whatever it is, in academia, whatever it may be, I have to become one with myself so I can learn myself. Therefore, if I learn myself, I'm able to move different.
Correct.
If I'm able to move different, that means I'm able to be selective. I'm able to be selective. I mean, I'm actually having more impact than me trying to change the world all at once.
Right, and you're never going to do that. No one's ever done that. You know what I mean? You're only going to make your impact the way you're supposed to make it. Everyone's not supposed to make the same impacts. You know what I'm saying? You know, but what I will say is in reference to the pain piece, you know, in reference to, you know, when you know you're about to birth something great, the childbirth pains are going to be great as well. Ooh. And you need to understand that. You feel me? If you ain't going through it like that, that means you're not being transformed in a way to bring about whatever you're
Not
about to
being
bring
challenged.
about.
You ain't been challenged
Yeah,
enough.
yeah. And so that's the thing. And so you have to. That's why I say you have to understand those daily depths, that opposition, that adversity, because you think you might be going through hell, but guess what? Keep going through it, because at some point it had its beginning and it will have its end, and there will be something else that you didn't embark upon. That because you went through that and you stilled up now, you fortified now. Now you are prepared energetically to carry out some things that you wouldn't have been able to do 4 years
Sure.
ago or 5 years ago.
For sure.
Okay? And so that's what I'm saying. It becomes a thing of being able to embrace the pain in such a way. You see what I'm saying? Not in the sense of where it's deleterious to your mental health and you want to commit suicide, but it's a challenge to you saying, yes, in order for me to level up, in order for me to transform, I got to deal with this. I got to face this. I got to actually become one with it. Really?
Yeah, you got
I got to feel it all out. You know what I mean?
You got to lay in bed with it almost.
You do. You do.
You gotta lay in bed
and be
with-
still as fuck. You can't go nowhere. You can't go to the bathroom. Can't drink no water. You just got to lay limp with that
You got to
motherfucker.
lay with that mug and
Yeah.
just do what he do.
Right. And it's not going to
Just
stay there.
face it.
It
Just
won't
face-
stay there forever.
You got to close your eyes and just.
If you got to.
Close
You got
your
to.
eyes.
But the thing about it is, every time you do that, you gaining a piece. Every time you do that, you gaining confidence.
Yeah.
Every time you do that, you getting a piece of yourself that you didn't have before, that you are now integrating back into yourself. And so that makes you stronger to deal with the other things. But again, it's just like lifting weights. You don't bench 150 and then go up to 375 in 3 days.
Hell no.
You feel what I'm saying?
That shit took me about 4 years.
That's
when
what
I was
I'm
in school.
saying.
Bro,
It's
bro,
a-
I say,
Hey.
let me see. I'm gonna just say, from eighth, I think eighth grade I was probably doing like 175 on the strength.
Yeah,
That summer going to ninth grade, I'm
Yeah.
trying to make varsity.
yeah,
I'm like, but I'm gonna make varsity. But them boys doing 225,
Right,
250. I'm
right.
like, damn, I ain't say I couldn't do it.
right.
I knew I couldn't do it at the time, but I wasn't gonna say I can't do it. My dad said one
Right.
time, it was hard. I
Right.
said, all right, give me 2 weeks. You want push-ups in, 2 weeks, hit that bit one time. Boom, I was happy in the mug.
Right.
Then
right.
it took to probably my junior year to do 315. So that's 2 years. You go from 225 to 315.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I barely can hit that.
Yeah.
Now I got it when I got to college. So now you take another 2 years from senior year then freshman year in college. I'm 315 shorty. I'm
yeah.
easy.
Right.
Eating that shit up.
Right.
So you talking 9th grade, 10th grade, 11th grade, 12th grade. First 5 years to go from 175 to 315.
Yeah.
By my senior year, I'm doing 400.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Same thing
Yeah.
with the squat.
Yeah.
It wasn't that high, but as the years came, as I kept compounding that work,
Correct.
it started to add up. Same thing, clean press. I ain't really start, you know what I'm saying, cleaning
Yeah.
until I got to
Yeah.
my senior year of high school.
Right.
At Lovejoy.
Right.
In college, I became one of the strongest guys on the team.
Yeah.
All my folks can vouch for me.
Yeah.
Became one of the strongest guys on the team.
Yeah.
In college now.
Yeah.
So I say I to say this is that work. It's that work. Mental work, physical work,
2 minutes.
emotional work. Emotional work. All the work.
Yeah. And that's just an analogy for life. Like, that's what the death is. You dying to 175 and going to 215. You dying to 215, going to 250. You dying to 250, going to 275. All of those are deaths. You feel what I'm saying? And if you're not dying those, then you're not growing. And so you got to die at every level to get to the next level. You know, and so I think that's just an analogy for life. Like, you got to stand tall and be who you need to be in those little deaths. And those little deaths accumulate. And at some point, you become a different person. Like, this shit don't even bother me no more. That shit right there is cool, but I can walk right through it now. That shit used to bother the fuck out of me 4 years ago. Now I just walk through that shit because it ain't shit to me no
You
more.
want nothing. Easy work.
You see what I'm saying? And so that's the kind of attitude we have to have with whatever it is we want to do. You know what I mean?
Hey man.
It's been real.
Hey.
It's been real, my dog.
That man Monday.
Yes,
man.
sir. Hey. Appreciate you, my
Hey,
dude.
you know it, man.
Appreciate you, my dude.
You know it.
Appreciate you. Yes, sir.